Legends of Greek Mythology, The Story of Psyche, Part 2, The Trial of Psyche. Then Psyche began a long search for her lost Eros. She met Pan, Ceres, and Juno one after another, but none of them could help her. At last she went to Venus herself, thinking that the mother of love would be kind to her for love's sake. Eros at this time lay in the palace of Venus, suffering from the wound caused by the burning oil. Venus knew all that had happened, for a gull had flown to her and told her. She was very angry, and as a punishment imposed certain almost impossible tasks upon Psyche. First, the goddess pointed to a great heap of seeds, the food of the doves that drew her chariot, and of the little sparrows that accompanied her on her journeys. It was composed of wheat, barley, millet, and other kinds of seed, all mixed carelessly together. "Take these," said Venus, "and separate them grain by grain. Place each kind by itself, and finish the task before nightfall." Poor Psyche had no courage to begin the task, but sat with drooping head and folded hands. Then a little ant ran out from under a stone and called the whole army of the ant people, who came for love's sake, and quickly separated the seeds, laying each kind by itself. When Venus came at the close of the day and saw that Psyche's task was finished, she was very much surprised, and throwing the poor child a piece of coarse bread, remarked that a harder task would be set for her in the morning. Accordingly, when morning came, Venus took Psyche to the bank of a broad river, and pointing to a grove on the opposite shore where a flock of sheep with golden wool were feeding, she said, "Bring me some of that wool." Psyche would have plunged immediately into the river if some reeds on the bank had not whispered to her, "Do not go near those sheep now. They are fierce creatures when the sun is high. Wait till the song of the river has lulled them to sleep. Then go and pick all the wool you like from the bushes where the sheep have left it clinging." So Psyche waited until the sun was low, then crossed the river and came back with her arms full of golden wool. Venus, seeing Psyche return in safety, was angrier than ever. "You never did this by yourself," she said. "Now we will see whether you are wise and prudent enough to become the bride of Eros. Take this crystal vase and fill it with water from the fountain of forgetfulness." This fountain was at the very top of a high mountain. The icy water gushed forth from a smooth rock, far higher than anyone could climb, and as it rushed down its narrow channel, it shouted, "Fly from me! Beware! Thou wilt perish!" On either side of the black stream was a cave, and in each cave lived a fierce dragon. When Psyche came to the place and saw all of this, she was so horrified that she could not move or speak. Nevertheless, she accomplished this task also, for Jupiter's eagle, to whom love had been kind, took the crystal vase and filled it for her at the fountain. Psyche ran back to Venus with the water, hoping to please her this time, but Venus was still angry. "You are a witch," she said, "or you could not do these things. However, there is one task more. Take this box, carry it down into the underworld, and ask Proserpine if you may not bring back to me some of her beauty." When Psyche heard this, she felt sure that Venus meant to destroy her, and thinking that it was of no use to struggle longer against the persecutions of the goddess, she climbed up the stairway of a lofty tower, intending to throw herself down from the top. But the stones of the tower cried out to her, "Listen, Psyche! From yonder dark chasm, choked with thorns, a path leads down to the underworld. Take a piece of barley bread in each hand and 2 pieces of money in your mouth. Then follow this rough path. When you come to the river of the dead, Charon will ferry you over for one of your pieces of money. When you reach the gate of Pluto's palace, where Cerberus keeps watch, give that fierce dog one of the pieces of bread, and he will let you pass. You can enter the palace where Proserpine is queen. She will give you a portion of her beauty, shutting it into the box, and you can return by the same way, giving the remaining piece of bread to Cerberus and the remaining piece of money to Charon. One thing more, I charge you, do not by any means look into the box." Psyche was thankful indeed for this advice, and followed it in every particular but one, When she was returning, she forgot the warning about not looking into the box. Since love had flown away from her, her suffering had been so great that her beauty was nearly gone. Therefore, thinking that it might not be wrong to take a very little of Prosperine's beauty for herself, she raised the lid of the box. Whiff! A strange, invisible something rushed from it and overcame her. She fell into a deep sleep and might never have wakened again if Love, cured of his wounds, had not passed by and seen her. The god shook her till she was awake again, then sent her back to his mother with the box, while he flew straight to Mount Olympus and laid the case before Jupiter. The king of the gods, after hearing the story, said that Psyche should be made immortal and should become the bride of Eros. Mercury was immediately sent to bring Psyche up to Mount Olympus, while the gods all gathered to a great feast. Jupiter himself handed to this mortal maid the cup of sacred nectar, of which whoever drinks will live forever. Psyche drank from the golden cup, and straightway 2 beautiful butterfly-like wings sprang from her shoulders, and she became like the gods in all things. After this, she was wedded to Eros, who never flew away from her again. Apollo sang, and Venus, her anger forgotten, danced at the wedding. The end.